Hey, what's up, everybody? We're back with another Reddit Ask Me Anything. We have the man, the champion, Luis Baboon Palomino. How you doing, sir?
Doing great, my brother. Thank you for having me.
It's always great when you get to interview a champion, so we really appreciate you taking your time out for the Reddit community.
Oh, man, I appreciate your service, man. Thank you.
Cool. All right, so let's go ahead and start. How is your surgery? I mean, you had several major surgeries. How are you feeling? How's everything bouncing back?
Feeling great. So what happened is I did three surgeries in one session. I went under and I fixed the torn librium that I had in my very last fight against James Lilly, and you see the scar in that knuckle right there. I had to, I had to fix that knuckle up. So I fixed that knuckle. I fixed the labrium, and there's something I call the toe of hell. I've been dealing with this pain for like over 5 years, and it's one of the biggest reasons why I stopped doing MMA. I told her, listen, Ben, it's painful every step that I take. It was just painful, and I'm good with pain, but it came to the point that I started limping, and I said, okay, that's enough. Since I was gonna go under, I asked my doctor, Dr. Badia, I asked him, hey, is there a possibility that I can do all three things at once? I said, hey, sure thing. I have a colleague that does, he's a foot doctor. I can set it up with him. So they got together and we made it happen. And as far as the recovery, man, it's been great. We're now stepping into the fourth month after surgery, but I've been training for about 6 weeks now. I mean, moving my body around, it's not like I'm 100% either.
Sure.
But as of right now, I'm pretty much there. You know what I mean? Like where I'm already started pushing the pace of my training a little more. I'm not ready to start running yet, so I'm not running yet. And I'm gonna be doing a lot of my cardio in the pool or in the ocean for swimming because the toe is gonna take a little more time. But when it comes to boxing, with my boxing shoes on, I'm good. I'm back. You know what I mean? It's just
Cool.
sprinting that I have to like maneuver myself around.
Okay, so you called out both guys that are in the main event. So you legit think that you could be healthy enough to fight December 2nd, or going in you'd have a little bit of you'd be like 90%. Like what would you say you would be at that point?
I mean, look, man. In the end of the day, this is the fight game. This is the hurt business. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I would love to have the opportunity to fight against a name like Mike Perry, Eddie Alvarez, with a full camp. But the truth of the matter is, I've been over here with my hand racing, challenging people 2, 3 weight classes above me, challenging these big names, and they're all just going to, crickets. Everybody's quiet.
Sure.
I mean, everybody, and I'm speaking mainly about Chad Mendes and Eddie Alvarez who are in my weight class. They go,
Hmm.
they utilize their fame, their recognition, you know, to like hide behind it. Like, they don't really know him. You know what I mean? And they kind of use that. But in reality, you're in my house now. You know what I mean? This is my house. I'm the undefeated, the one pound for pound, the number one in this world, in this game, and it's about time that it happens. So if I have to step in there not 100% ready, I can care less, man. I can care less if I'm not 100% ready. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's a fight. At the end of the day, it's a fight. I'm coming in to fight. And if one of them just decides to pull out for whatever reason, whether it's an injury, I don't wish anything bad on anybody. I do not wish that somebody gets injured for me to get in there. I don't look at it like that. But in true, man, to be truthful, I don't see Eddie Alvarez showing up, man. I really don't
Okay.
think that something's gonna happen, some excuse is gonna pop up. I mean, come on, man. This guy got knocked down twice by Chad Mini Mendes, man. The thing
Yeah.
that ducked me for an entire year. He got knocked down twice. And now you want to fight with the platinum? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't think he's gonna show up. I mean, I don't know. Prove me wrong that night, but I'll be there. I'll be haunting him until the last minute, and I just don't see me fighting him because he does not want to face me. Period. Eddie Alvarez does not want to fight me. There's no excuses. There's nothing to talk about around this. He does not want to fight me. I offered him a title fight. He went to chase gold everywhere, all around the world. He was a Bellator champion, UFC champion. He even went to Japan to try to chase that gold over there for ONE FC.
Right.
Didn't get it. Now I'm here throwing it in his face and you don't want it, or you just don't believe you can get it. You know what I mean? So, at this point, man, I'm just ready for whatever happens, man. Whatever pops up first.
So I mean, legit. Like, would you prefer to fight one over the other, or you don't give a shit? You just want to fight.
No, I really don't give a shit at this point because look, man. I'm not delusional. You know what I mean? I'm not delusional. I understand what I'm stepping into if I was to get into a fight with Mike Perry. And what I'm saying, what I mean by that is there's some big difference in weight, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, okay. And I understand that, but as far as skills, and this is not have much respect for Mike Perry. He's a super cool dude. We have mutual respect for each other. But in the respect to myself and in my own confidence, I just believe that I am the better fighter. I am the better striker, and that I can outbox at any given time. That's what I believe. You know what I mean? Do I rather fight with Eddie Alvarez? Do I rather have a fight with Chad Mendes? I mean, if you think about it, yeah, that's my right. It's my weight class.
Sure.
But guys don't want to fight me, so I have to step up. I have to go up. You know what I mean? That's what I got to do.
Got it. All right. So I know you're super proud of your Peruvian heritage. There was talks of a Peru card at some point. Have you heard anything else about that, or is it on the back burner for right now? Or
everything was heading that way until I don't know if you heard, but my president went to jail.
I did not hear that.
So my president ended up going to jail. Things got a little bad in my country. It is a third world country. The plans are still there because I've never fought in my hometown. I was 34 in the States. I just got my green card about a year and a half ago. You know what I mean? So that is definitely a fight that I will do before I am done fighting. Dave is on board. As far as getting a fight done over there, it's just we got to make the timing right. I would say I'm not saying that this is going to happen. I would say before the end of 2024.
Okay.
I believe so. Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so I know you're really big into giving back to the community. Like what programs do you have going on now, or what do you have going on in the future that's important to you?
So in over here in Miami, we have what's called the Young Tigers Foundation, which is my gym. It's a low income gym. We helped troubled kids, man, like I was,
Sure.
And I went now that I'm part of the board of Young Tigers Foundation, I extended it and made one that's called Baboon for the Kids, right? And that's it's gonna be to focus on the combat fighting athletes because Peru really fixated only on soccer, football.
Sure.
And there's no love, no attention to the fighters that are there with the flag, representing the country and fighting for us to represent the country. And there's no support from the government whatsoever. So I want to go to my foundation and provide this support to those young kids that are trying to do something better for themselves, man. The delinquency right now in my country is horrible. My city, Lima, has now become the most dangerous city in the world, above Colombia, above Venezuela.
Wow.
And if you think about it, if you want to fix this, you got to fix that to the roof. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Martial arts is what kept me out of jail, what kept me out of prison, what has me alive today. I'm the example of that. So I want to put my part into doing that. So to answer your question right now, I'm doing that, and I did open my management company with my good old friend, my immigration attorney, Hugo Florido, and it's called Primal Instinct Management. And basically, same thing. I want to focus more on fighters outside of the country. I want to focus more on fighters from Colombia, not just from the country, from Peru, Colombia, Venezuela, Brazil. And since my attorney is an immigration attorney, we also provide, the help with the papers, the visas, and helping them become residents if possible, to bring them into the States, and help them make some money and bring some back to their families over there. Try to help those people,
Okay, so you have the management company. Is there like a prospect that you're super excited about yet, or is it just in the fledgling stages so you don't have somebody quite yet, or?
I have a couple. I have a girl just signed, Claudia. She is fire, man. She is awesome. Striker, like if you see highlights of her striking, it looks like me when I first started MMA.
Okay.
A dog, good looking, So she's gonna be, man. She's gonna be something to remember for people. I'm working with her right now. I'm working also with Marlon. Marlon Gonzalez is my training partner that helped me get ready for my very last fight. And something happens every time I start getting ready for fights, right? Where I actually pay my sparring partners.
Sure.
To work with me, and most of the sparring partners that I get are professional boxers. You know what I mean? They don't do too many rounds. You know what I mean? So this every time I get in better and better shape, my sparring partners start to disappear or
Okay.
something, or they can't show up. Marlon, man, this guy was like, he even came and told me, it was like, one week he tells me, is it just me or every week are you hitting me a little harder? I'm like, yeah, I am because I don't want to scare people off, but this guy was pushing me back. He
Yeah.
never quit. He pushed me back. He's a striker. He's a brawler. He's got power. He's got heart. Man, look out for Marlon. I hope that I can get him in BKFC as soon as possible. If not, we are looking at karate combat, and
Okay.
he. You know what I mean, I'm trying to cross him over to BKFC because I think he will do great in BKFC. So hopefully, BKFC gives me an opportunity to bring him in there. I'm putting him in. Of
Okay.
course,
So you've. Oops.
we already know Tyler Goodjob.
Yeah.
We already the monster, the Viking. I mean, this dude that I hated, that I wanted to kill with my bare hands,
Yeah.
has been my brother. You know what I mean? The guy's a very good person. And all he's wanted is the right opportunities. So right now, Tyler's a little bit, out of mood with the whole bare knuckle movement. He hasn't been able to get fights, hasn't been able to get what he wants, and I understand him where he's coming from. So I'm looking to get him a couple of boxing fights. He wants to do some glove boxing fights. But if there was to be an offer in bare knuckle that can actually afford his worth, then I would put him back in bare knuckle. Right now we're just focusing in glove boxing for him.
Why is it so hard to get fights in BKFC? It seems like unless you're like one of the unless you're the juggernaut or one of these other guys, it seems like it's almost impossible to get on a card more than once or twice a year. Why is that?
Man, to be in the most safe side of answering this type of question, I think it comes down to the speed in which we're growing. It comes down to that speed in which we're growing, where we are growing very fast, and you have so many fighters that now want to fight for us. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So many options now. And I can understand that. We want to bring in more new blood, and you're testing out the waters with certain fighters. But in the end of the day, man, a fighter like Tyler Goodjob, man, Tyler Goodjob. I mean, think about his last three fights.
Sure.
He's the pound for pound number one guy in the company. He lost to the number one contender, James Lely, who gave me the hardest fight other than him. And he did not lose against the next number one contender, Tony Soto Loco. You know what I mean? He did not lose that fight. He won that fight. You know what I mean? At the bare minimum, I believe that he should have received a rematch for that fight.
Okay.
Or at least, a fight deal, man. Give me a 2-fight deal for a year. If you can't do 3 fights, give me at
Sure.
least to give him some work. But I'm not the one that makes the calls. I'm trying my best.
Okay, so like I said, you've had several like absolute beasts that you fought. James Lilly being one. Who would say your top three most difficult opponents, or who surprised you the most out of all your title defenses so far?
Number one is always going to be Tyler. Tyler was the first one to cut me. Practically the only one to receive 178 bare knuckle punches to the face, slap his chest, and walk forward asking for more, man.
Right.
without ever quitting, without ever hitting the floor. You know what I mean? No matter how big you cut him, the guy is there to fight. So Tyler will always take that. I think after Tyler is James Levy because of us. He's a technician, very similar.
Sure.
He's a technician, very difficult fighter, very thinking fighter. You know what I mean? As to where most people come in, he's just trying to brawl. He has shown to be able to knock people out, to be able to bring the dog in himself. But in the end of the day, he's a technician. You know what I mean? And it was a very difficult fight to decipher. And definitely takes number two. So Tyler number one, Lily number two,
Yeah.
and if you want a number three, I don't see a number three, man.
That's fine. 1 and 2 works for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you're a pretty well-traveled guy. Where's been your favorite place to fight, or like, has there been a favorite arena or a favorite city that you've enjoyed fighting in, or are you just a hometown type of guy? Or
Well, in bare knuckle, man. So far, only Florida. They've kept me here. I did fight in Biloxi, Mississippi, I believe, when I first captured the title.
okay,
I'm not gonna say that was one of my favorite places. Still, Florida. You can't beat Florida when it comes to that.
Sure.
But I like to travel, man. I like to fight over there in Thailand. I like to go to Europe. I like to move around. You know what I mean? I'm waiting on that.
So we just saw that bare knuckle Thai. Is that like something that interests you, or do you want to do just strictly bare knuckle over there? Does the Thai part of it interest you?
The only way that a fight would interest me in the bare knuckle tie is if it would be against Buoka.
Okay.
If they were to offer me to do a fight against Buoka in Thai boxing bare knuckle, I'll sign for that.
Right now.
The legend, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't see him fighting me in bare knuckle. You know what I mean? I don't see bare knuckle. Just bare knuckle. I don't see him taking that fight. So I'll step into his world.
Sure. Were you expecting so much controversy after your comments of the Lily fight? I mean, it seemed like you were honest, and it seems like people hated that you were honest.
I wasn't fully honest. I think that it's kind of like a double-edged sword, man. It really sucks because I am a very honest and honorable person. And that's what I try to be.
Sure.
But when I spoke, I was also not giving the complete truth. Because I'll put it to you like this. How would I sound? All right. How do I sound if I say, 8-0 guy, the only 8-0 guy other than me,
Sure.
with one arm?
Right.
I sound like an asshole. I sound like I'm making excuses and I'm making my opponent like shit. You know what I mean? And it's not right, But the truth is the truth, The truth is I fractured that knuckle right there in the Tom Shaw fight, 5 months prior to the fight with James Lilly.
Okay.
1 week before the fight, sparring, about a week and a half, sparring, I hit an uppercut and I land exactly right there, brings the pain back. Okay? So I'm like, I didn't tell nothing to nobody. My training partners knew nothing. The only person that knew that my hand was hurt was my trainer. And not even my wife, that I normally complain about my pains, so she can massage that stuff and give my free massages, and not even my wife, I was complaining about that because to me is I have a different way of thinking where I don't like how people start thinking, right? Oh, the age of 40. Look, everybody ages differently. Everybody feels different, In this point, if I tell people, my training partners, hey, my hand's hurt, then everybody starts talking about it, and everybody comes to me like, "You sure? Are you sure?" And they're putting the doubt in my head. So say, you know what, man, I'm gonna be all right. We're gonna make this happen. I kept it quiet, but then in the week of the fight, the weigh-ins is on a Thursday. Okay, I'm hitting mitts, and I hit an uppercut hard, bare knuckle, and I hit an uppercut on the mitts. But the mitts are a little hard, you know what I mean? Not soft mitts,
Mm-hmm.
And I hit it right there, man. I'm like, boom. And it was painful to the point that I had to do a cortisone shot.
Okay.
Okay, so I didn't do it on Wednesday. I did it on Thursday evening. You know what I mean? I fought Friday, man. That shit didn't kick in till Sunday.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I literally fought on one hand. Count how many times I let go of my right hand. You will see that in the clinch, I will do this because I'm hitting with this.
Sure.
But if I throw a straight right hand, I land was hurting. If I throw uppercuts, I land was hurting. So I was like, man, I have to work what I got. You know what I mean? So the cortisone shot was too late. It didn't kick in on time. I literally ended up fighting with one arm, which caused me to mess up my knuckle and tear my labrum.
Wow.
I mean, the proof is in the pudding, man. You know what I mean? But how do I sound if I grab the mic and say things like that? You know what I mean?
I got you. Yeah.
I went another round. I said, hey, you want me to, you want more from me? Then give me, which is, I'm right about that too. Give me an opponent that, that's known out there. Give me these big names that you're bringing in here. You know what I mean? Like, what's the point of signing these guys if they're not going to fight your best guys? Think about it like this. I'm not a UFC fighter.
Right.
And beat many of them and lost to a few of them, right? I beat guys that I beat them and then they've gotten signed to UFC. Right? Like more than one, more than two, more than three, right? And I'm over here like raising my hand. Like I was challenging Thiago Alves at 170 pounds, man. I walk around with 170.
Right.
And I was booked. If it wasn't for Malky putting in his other guy to fight his guys together to double dip, you know. But I was willing to go to 175 to fight Thiago Alves. Fight didn't happen. So now I'm over here. Chad Mendes comes in. I'm over here, like, and I'm just being avoided. I mean, I understand the business outlook of BKFC. I understand. We bring in these guys. They bring in, eyes. They bring in a following, and I understand that. But I just think that BKFC has done that enough. This is my personal opinion. I just believe BKFC has done that enough to the point where we have those eyes now. Now, how about testing those UFC former champions or contenders with your champion, man? Because I was BKFC made. You know what I mean? I wasn't the UFC fighter. I was made in your house. You know what I mean? So what better than give me, like, Eddie Alvarez, for example. I beat him. You have a champion in BKFC that beat a former UFC champion, former Bellator champion. And if he beats me, then you have a former Bellator, former UFC champion that's representing your company. It's a win-win. I mean, that's
Absolutely.
what
I personally felt like they would have got more mileage out of putting Perry against Mundell and then Eddie against you. I mean, that's two big fights rather than a single big fight. So
yeah, but Eddie does not want to fight me, brother. That's just he does not want to fight me.
Okay, so then going forward, is there any way to give you a 155-pound fight against that also is a money fight? Is there anybody that's currently on the roster that you would view as a money fight that you would like to defend your belt against? I mean, Austin Trout was calling you out quite a bit. Like, would that be a money fight or not really?
I mean, look, Austin Trout is not a money fight for me.
Okay.
It's a good fight for me.
Absolutely.
It's a good fight for me. I'll make good money out of it, but it's not the money fight that I'm looking for. It's not the pay I'm looking for. But to answer the question, man, look, he signed up and he's the only one that is still talking about wanting to fight me, which I, you know what I mean, because I'm already up to here with these guys that are coming in and they're just like quiet and hiding behind cameras. You know what I mean? So Austin Trout would definitely be the person to bring in next if I'm going to defend the 155-pound title again. It should be against him unless you have somebody that's a more known name than him. And I would love that fight for the simple fact that this is a WBA world champion, right? This is a guy that has faced people like Canelo, a person that knocked out Miguel Cotto, man. Like, he's got history behind him. He's fought the who's in his world. And, we see all of this YouTuber thing going on, right? Where not just the YouTuber thing, but like the crossovers between MMA fighters and the boxing world, right?
Mm-hmm.
We haven't tried a bare knuckle boxer in the boxing world. We haven't tried that yet. You know what I mean? So I would not only whoop Austin Trout in the square circle, I will give him his rematch after that in the glove square. You know
That'd be a cool two fight, yeah.
You know what I mean? To cross over and show these guys, that the bare knuckle boxing of today, which was the birth of the glove boxing, right?
Absolutely.
It's on another level, man. It has resurrected. It has been, risen to a complete different level. And even though there are a lot of brawlers out there, there are a lot of mixtures of brawlers with strategists like myself. You know what I mean? Thinking fighters that we can keep taking the sport to another level. So if we could just get that opportunity, man, it'd be great.
Okay, so, I mean, clearly Eddie doesn't want to fight you. Perry said that he'd fight Mundell afterwards. Is there anybody else out there that's kind of a free agent that you would like to see brought in? Or you're just, you're kind of like stuck?
I would say, look, I've seen Jose Aldo boxing, right? I don't see him wanting to do any MMA, right?
No.
Boxing, why not take off the gloves, right? We've seen Anthony Pettis boxing, right? Mm-hmm. Anthony fought at 155. He fought Roy Jones Jr. at 185?
Right.
If he comes with I'm not coming down to 155 or whatnot, he don't want the title, he's not interested, fine. I'll fight him whatever weight class he wants. You know what I mean? I'm flexible with that. So Anthony Pettis would be a good name. Jose Aldo, Jeremy Stevens.
Absolutely, yeah.
And of course, who doesn't want a red penny night, right? Conor McGregor, if he ever wants to come in here, see the difference between McGregor though. As much as he can be talk and sell, that dude will fight, and he will get away from a good fight. At least not in the striking department. I know that in the UFC he dug some wrestlers, including a good friend of mine, Ricardo Lamas. I know that, but in the striking world, he feels unbeatable, especially in the boxing world. So I think that McGregor coming into the BKFC world, if he does come in, the only one that deserves that fight is myself, because it's my weight class, and I'm the most accomplished fighter in the organization. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. You've defaulted. You've won multiple belts. You're undefeated. I feel like you're at the point now where you should be able to write your like. I mean, I don't think you're on the ups. You're not quite at the peak yet, but I mean, you've got a handful, maybe 5, 6, 10 fights at the most. And I feel like you should be at the point now where you get to pick your opponent, and maybe Dave and them need to let you kind of have your say a little bit more as far as your opponents.
I mean, I'm over here hoping and waiting for it, man.
Yeah. All right. So if people want to follow you, would you say Instagram's the best way to follow you, or are you active on Facebook? Or
Thank you, man. Mostly on Instagram at Luis Luis Baboon, like the monkey, Luis Baboon.
okay,
For mostly it's what I use.
cool. And then is there any like sponsors or shout outs you'd like to give before we end?
Yeah, big time. Always Florida Yachts International. Mr. Ralph Navarro has been one of my biggest supporters since the very beginning. First Step Realty, Sativa. I mean, I don't want to leave nobody out. It's a whole lot of them.
Absolutely.
Alcoholics, as you can see right here.
Nice shirt.
Wait till you guys see what is coming, man. I just came back right now from finishing a piece in which, like I told you, how I did the surgery.
Yeah.
It was artists working simultaneously to complete my entire back. Wait till you get this. So big shout out to Alcoholics, my boy Gabe over there, and everybody else has always shown support and helps me out. And even if I don't mention you, man, you know that you're in my heart and you always help me, and I always represent you. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Well, you're a fan favorite on the Reddit, and we appreciate you taking your time with us.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.